Hey, what's up guys? It's Alex and I'm recording another Bridges video, and today we are going to be talking about Mineplex Bridges tips and tricks. So, let's get started. Tip 1 is to organize your hotbar. So what I mean by that is you probably want your weapon, your sword or axe in your first slot, your secondary weapon if your class allows a secondary weapon like TNT for bomber or bow for archer. Then you want some mushroom stew in like your second two, then your blocks, then your pickaxe, and then your compass in your final slot, and probably leave these two slots open. Now the reason for this is that it makes it easier to switch between the necessary tools, and it makes your game a lot easier because you can switch from attacking to defending or mining to attacking and stuff like that. So, on the subject of mining, the most efficient way to mine for resources is with branch mining. Now, branch mining is when you mine like this. So, what you're going to want to do is dig. Just a second, let me make some torches, because this looks absolutely terrible in the dark. So, bam. So what you're going to want to do first is dig a couple of blocks inward, and then mine to your left a ways, and then mine to your right a ways. And then what you're going to do next is you mine 3 blocks in. 1, 2, and 3. And on the third block, you mine to the side. Like so. And then you do the same to the other side. And you can make these branches as long or as short as you want, or as many branches or as little branches as you want. Just make sure that you follow this general pattern. And the reason this is useful is that you'll see in this passageway I can see these blocks to the left and right of me, and in this passageway I can see the blocks to the left and the right of me. And because it's 2 blocks in between, in this passage I can see this block, and in this passage I can see this block, which means you will never miss any ores ever again, as long as you're branch mining, and so long as the ores are within your area. So my next tip is going to be, just a second, let me put some of my stuff in here. Is that if you're bomber, and you're defending against someone with TNT, you'll notice that right now, if I'm 2 blocks away, I will die, bam. But if I simply put 2 blocks in between it, so I will only take half a heart of damage. And that is incredibly useful if you are in a sky base or some other small confined space where you can't really move out of the way, but you can still build a wall, which will definitely protect you from the TNT. Now, granted, you might still fall down from your sky base, but you definitely won't die of TNT damage. And on the subject of sky bases, that brings me to my next tip, which is going to be on the size of your sky base. So when you're building a sky base, you generally do not want a sky base that is too big, but sometimes it is okay to have a sky base that is smaller, so long as you defend it properly. Just like, for example, if I build my sky base too big, then I will have too much area to defend, and I will overexpose myself, meaning that if there are people building up, then I won't be able to fight all of them because they'll be coming from too many different spots. But if you build it smaller and you're only one person, and you protect against TNT or stuff like that, by, for example, making out of crafting tables, then it will be a lot harder for people to sneak up on you because you'll see them from every side that they're coming from. Okay, and my next tip is to take advantage of the odd tools in Minecraft. Now I'm talking about buckets and shears. Now shears are incredibly useful because they let you destroy trees and get over a stack of blocks in just a couple of seconds, which is very useful if you're a miner or you just don't have any building blocks, because building blocks are very useful in bridges. Shears are also useful in that the leaf blocks are see-through, which means if you build your base out of them, you will be able to see people who are building up to it, assuming it's a sky base, and you'll be able to shoot them off or kill them before they get there. They also are good for fall damage or void-based traps because they can be destroyed instantly, which makes them very easy to drop people into the void or down really long tunnels or pits and stuff like that with the shears, because they're so fast that when you destroy them, that it makes it very hard to avoid them. And the next tip is using buckets. So buckets are useful on void-based maps because they let you keep from falling off the map. Because if you put water on your tunnel that you're building or passage that you're building to another island, it means that if someone shoots you off, you still won't die because you can just fall into the water and then climb back up. They're also helpful in that if you are on volcanic islands like I am, and you fill it with lava from the middle there, it is useful because you will be able, because lava, what I'm trying to say is lava kills people very quickly. You take, I believe it's 4 hearts a second when you're in lava, and even when you're out of lava, you will still take damage from the fire that it sets you on. It sets you on fire. That was a mouthful. Anyways, next tip is going to be to never underestimate the power of the FOV option. So the FOV option, you go to Options, and then it'll be right up here. Since I am in Pirate Speak, which is another language in Minecraft, right here, Pirate Speak, it makes all the tools with fun name. It makes all the tools have fun names and stuff like that. But anyways, you go up here to your FOV option. You can see if I go inwards, it's like a zoom option. I can see things that are farther away, but if you have it like this, it's also pretty hard to move. But if you have it on Quake Pro, which is the final setting, you will notice if you're Archer that your barrages will get more accurate. Now, since I'm not Archer class, I can't demonstrate right now, but I would advise you to try it. Because if you switch to the lowest setting, your barrages become super inaccurate, but if you go up all the way, it makes them a lot more accurate than if you just have it set on normal setting. I advise you to try that. My next tip is going to be if you want to speak to only your team and no one else, like you're discussing a strategy or you're discussing how to attack someone who's skybasing, or you just want to give directions, if you type at the beginning of what you say, the @ symbol, and I'll say hello. Now you can see right there that it says team right where I'm right before what I said, which means only the people on your team can see that, and that will work on any Mineplex game. My next tip is if there are some ores around you and you're mining for stuff, then you want to cover them up so that other people can't find them. If you cover them up, then that means people won't notice them, and you'll be able to mine them whenever you want, but they won't see it. So that is you should always do that if you find ores when you're bomber or you're mining by yourself or something like that, because that ensures that you will get it and not someone else. Because although ore stealing is bannable, nobody really listens to that. My next tip is if you're making armor, oh crap, I don't have any blocks. Okay, since I don't have any actual armor, we'll pretend this cobblestone is armor. So you can craft multiple pieces of armor at the same time. You can craft your helmet on top of your chest plate and then boots on top of that, which means you can just click, 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 and then you get all 3 pieces of armor really fast in your hotbar, which means you can put it on a lot faster. Now don't try and do this with leggings, because if you try and do this with leggings, it won't work. You'll get like 2 pairs of leggings and some other odd stuff, and it just won't work. But the only thing you can do with leggings is boots. My next tip is if you're mining downwards towards the ground, you want to, and you're on a void-based map, you want to mine while standing in the middle of 2 blocks, like this. So you can see I don't fall down because I still have 1 block underneath me. So that means if you see void underneath one of them, then you don't mine that one, and you build back up or over, and you will never fall into the map, out of the map, as long as you still have a block underneath you. So that's a pretty valuable skill. I meant to include that in my how not to fall off the map in Mineplex Bridges video, but I kind of forgot to. Oh well. Anyways, it goes in this video. Back on the subject of armor, if you're using leather armor, always dye it. That's probably, I'm guessing, the reason why they give you bones whenever you kill an animal. So if you simply put your bone into your crafting table, and then you will get bone meal, then it'll make it look a lot more like iron, especially from a distance, which is very good for the intimidation factor. My next tip is going to be always mine for resources. No matter what you're doing at the beginning of the game, you should always be mining for resources, because there is a very strong correlation between people who survive in a Bridges game and have armor and those who don't have armor, and because they generally don't survive. So, my next tip is always make mushroom stew. Mushroom stew is incredibly useful in that it gives you regeneration for, I believe it's 4 seconds. So how you craft mushroom stew? Oh, this guy's giving me iron. How nice of him. So you put four planks like so, then you get a bowl, and then you put 1 gray mushroom and 1 red and white mushroom. And now this mushroom stew, you can see if I eat it, it restores 2 hunger bars, and it gives me regeneration 2 for 4 seconds or so, which is very helpful if you're fighting someone in PvP, or if you're running away from someone, or a scenario like that. My next tip is always use your compass. You just need to get into the habit of, whenever you're really anywhere, of just checking your compass periodically. So right now I can see that the closest person is a red person, Chunky Norris, and they are 70-80 blocks away. And the compass is a very useful tool, because if you're mining by yourself, then that will let you know where the enemies are closer for you to, and once they get within 20 or 30 blocks or so, then you know they're on your island. 20 to 30 to 40, depending on really the map. So once they get within that, then you know that they're really close to you, and you should start either running away or preparing to fight them. It's also helpful if you're in a sky base, because the height thing right there, that will tell you whether they are going to attack you in your sky base, and if they're building up to you. Oh, this guy's giving me more stuff. How nice of him. I'm going to make a sword, so I don't die as soon. That'd be a good idea. Oh, I already have a sword. Okay. Just kidding. I'm going to go... Oh, wait, I have sticks. Never mind. Anyways. Let's see. Oh yes, escaping water damage. If you are mining by yourself and bridges have already spawned, the trick is to always mine standing a little ways back from where you're mining, like so, because that will give you a little more time to run away and place blocks once the water comes flowing towards you, because that water will hit you fast, and if you're not ready for it, you will die. Also, if you're on volcanic islands and you jump into the water, then the trick is not to try and place blocks underneath you. The trick is to place blocks next to you and then climb onto them. So see, okay, let's do this just for demonstration purpose, so you can see. Not working. Oh well, I died. Anyways, and if you're archer, you can give yourself a second bow. Likewise, if you're brawler, you can give yourself a second iron sword to give to a teammate or to a friend who's playing with you. So how you do that is you simply give your bow to them, you press Q, and then you run over to the water or jump off the map, and then once you respawn, you will end up with a second bow or sword. Now this will remove your early game revive, but it's pretty useful, because you'll just have to be a little more careful to make sure you don't die from an archer who's trying to kill you. Not sure if I said this one, but if you're bomber, you want to mine underground. You want to mine downwards a little ways and then start blowing holes in the ground. Because if you're just mining from the surface, then there will be people who will climb into your hole and then they will start stealing your ores, and that's not good. That's all I have for tips and tricks. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.